Good evening. Welcome to the STEM Shed. Hope you had a great new year. Happy 2020, start of a new decade, or, depending on our point of view, the last year of a decade. But that's something else for another time. So, today we're going to be solving a system of equations. You've done this before, usually through elimination, elimination through addition or possible substitution. This one right here is going to have to be a substitution. I'll explain why. Well, the first thing you have here is these two problems. This is a circle, and this is your rational function. Now, right here is example. This is your circle. This is your rational function. Notice how you approach this asymptote. So, what we're looking for here is basically this point, this point, this point, and this point, which means you're going to have 4 answers. So, a lot of students get tripped up on this because you're used to finding just 2 answers or 1 answer. In this case, you have 4. All these spots, these intersect right here somewhere. So, going with this one right here, in this problem I want to demonstrate something that was really good for me to figure out is that I had to remember some old algebra I kind of forgot about, and it wasn't the right answer for my problem, but it got me in the right direction for the problem. And so let's go ahead and start. Well, first off, you're not going to do addition on this one, because if you do, you're going to end up with this y is equal to 3 over x, and then you're going to subtract it, so you're going to end up y minus 3 over x is equal to 0, and then if you try and do this x squared plus y squared is equal to 10, and there's no way for you to solve it easily where you can eliminate these things. So don't even try it. Alright? Instead, you want to use substitution. Substitution is going to be your best bet. Alright, and doing substitution becomes kind of easy. So you're going to end up right here. You're going to have x squared plus y squared is equal to 10. And then you're going to have y is equal to 3 over x. We just move the x down here. Alright, so we're going to end up taking y and place it into here. So you end up with a problem that is x squared plus, I'm just going to go ahead and do this now, but 9 over x squared, and that is equal to 10. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is get rid of this x squared on the bottom. That's going to be a pain in the butt to try and solve. So I'd rather just get it away from top. So I'm lazy, so I like to just bracket the whole thing. And I need to eliminate this. So you want the least common denominator, right? What's the least common denominator here? X squared. X squared. And again, because I'm lazy, I'm going to just distribute everything. And don't forget, you do one thing to one side, you do it to the other side. So I'm going to move it up here. And that gives us, I'm going to go back to the black marker. I'll go with the green marker. Maybe you can see it. That gives me this x to the 4th plus, remember this is eliminated, 9 is equal to 10x. Or more importantly, 10x squared. I've made that mistake already before. So, and then you're just going to set this up like a normal problem. We're trying to solve for, like you're trying to solve for the roots. Except in this case, you got x to the 4th. You subtract this 10x over, you get minus 10x squared. You got plus 9, and that is equal to 0. So, at this point here, you might be confused. You're going to start doing weird things. You're going to start adding the square and trying to, you're going to try and move this out, and you're going to end up doing a thing where you pull the x squared out, so you end up with x squared is equal to x squared minus 10 plus 9, and then you're going to start moving things around, and you'll have wrong answers. And trust me, I tried that, and I had to redo it. Instead, when I did all this stuff, I said, this looks very familiar to a problem I had before. This was a problem I was doing for SAT prep. When I did this problem, I kind of remembered this whole thing. You have, so if you have a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, well, this is equal to, and I think it's called a perfect trinomial, binomial, I can't remember. Anyways, you end up with this, a minus b squared. And I started to do that, and I was going to say, okay, well, a squared is equal to x to the fourth, and then I was going to do b squared is equal to 9 and solve for a problem to get a, but then I was like, wait, that's not right. This is not perfect because this 2ab cannot equal 10x squared and give you that answer of 9. So I had to kind of start over. But it got me in the right direction. So I said, wait a second now. I just got to factor this. I know how to factor this. I've done this before. And the best way to factor this is to not be lazy. So the first thing I did is I built my brackets. Alright. I built my brackets and I said, okay, well, I got this x to the fourth here. So I know I need something that's going to be, when I multiply here and here, I'm going to get x to the fourth. And the simplest one for me to do on that one is, so we're doing this, is I need to get x squared and x squared. Alright. So that's the first part of it. The next thing I had to try and figure out was, okay, so what am I going to put here? Well, I have a negative here. Well, I have a negative here and a positive here. Well, that means when I have to multiply two negatives in this spot, so I'm like, okay, well, they're both going to be negatives. So, yay, it makes life simple. And let's see, go with green. So my only problem is what can I multiply here to get this positive 9 right there? So I like to do this. I like to build my positive 9 and find my multiples. So I know that 1 times 9 is equal to 9. 3 times 3 is equal to 9. Am I done? No, because also negative 1 times negative 9 is equal to 9. And negative 3 times negative 3 is also equal to 9. So next thing I do is to say, okay, which one is going to give me this one? So I find my sum. And this one, the sum of 1 and 9 is positive 10. The sum of this one, positive 10, is a positive 6. The sum of this one is a negative 10. And the sum of this one is a negative 6. So, boom, my answer is this one. So I know that I have a 1 right here and a 9 right here. And you can always FOIL out to check your answer. I'm not going to do it just to save time. So now we get back to where we were. Alright, and I'm just going to set this equal to 0. Because that's where we were originally, right? So set equal to 0. Well, I can divide this on both sides, so I get x squared minus 1 is equal to 0. Or x squared is equal to 1. Take the square root, take the square root. I have x is equal to plus or minus 1. Now this is important. I see a lot of times you guys will say, well, do I do like a principal root? Because when you worked a lot of times in direction, conic sections, distance, you only deal with a positive because you can't have a negative distance. But in this case right here, I want you to come down here. Let's see, go down here with the black marker. You'll see it better. And you're going to start building your answers. So build a bracket. My board's a little unstable. That's fine. There, 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 there. Okay. Well, I know I have a positive 1 and a negative 1. Alright. So I fill that in. Let's do another one. This one right here. So we get x squared minus 9 is equal to 0. That gives you a x squared is equal to 9. Take the square root, take the square root. X is equal to plus or minus 3. Okay, so you have this right here. So again, going back to my bracket, 3 and also a negative 3. Now, if I want to solve this, there's a couple ways. I just have to plug these x's in each one. I could plug in here if I want, but that sounds very annoying. So instead, I'm going to plug into the xy equals 3. Because I think that'll make life a whole lot easier. And I like math to be easier. So, let's do this one. Let's start with this one right here. This positive 1. So, in this case right here, you're going to get 1 times y is equal to 3. Or y is equal to 3. That's easy. That goes there. Alright, let's do another one. Oops. Alright. Next one up. Let's go with a negative 1. So again, negative 1 times y, and that means y is equal to negative 3. Alright, negative 3. Boom, negative 3. right down there. All right, and then we're going to move on over here to our 3's now. So we have a 3 times y is equal to 3, or y is equal to a positive 1. Positive 1. Next up is our negative 3 times y is equal to 3, and that means that y is equal to negative 1. And here we are, negative 1. Now, I drew this little example right here, but essentially what would happen, this is not to scale, not even close, nowhere near even close to scale. I just drew this up as a reference because this is what it looks like. So basically if you went over 1 and up 3, this would basically be your 1 and 3. And this one here, you have your negative 1 and negative 3. Again, not to scale. And then you have your 3 and your 1. And then you have your negative 3 and negative 1. And there's your answer. Alright, so hopefully